I'd like to call to order today's Tuesday, October 24th meeting of the Parks Board and Recreation. Can you please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Mike, if you would, roll call, please.
All right, Cindy Suze.
Here.
Mike Moffett.
Here.
Barb Tuesley.
Present.
And Dave Beasel.
Present. Okay. Item 4, consent agenda. Claims. Mike, if you would elaborate for us, please.
Yeah, sure. In front of you in your packet there is just the claims. This would have been everything from September the 18th going through October the 13th, essentially. So altogether, the claims for the time frame equaled out to $52,281.61.
Okay. Any discussion on the claims? If not, I will entertain a motion to accept the claims as posted here.
I will make that motion.
Thank you, Cindy. Can I get a second?
Barb Tuesley will second.
Thank you, Barb. So we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Item B, minutes from the September 26, 2023 Park Board and Recreation meeting. There again, you have the minutes in front of you. For those of you that were here, it was a little bit of a lengthy read, but at the same token, I did not see anything that was not good. I don't know if anybody else has any questions or comments on the minutes from that meeting. Hearing none, then I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes from the September 26, 2023 Park and Recreation Board meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Mike. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Cindy. So I have a motion, I have a second. If we could all signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are put into the record. Okay, item 5, new business. Premier portable restroom units. Mike.
Okay, so this is more of an update more than anything else. Back in February, I believe it was the February 6th meeting that we had, we okayed the Premier portable restrooms for the use of the year. We have 2 POs that were open for that. Right now, we're just over our purchase order for the rest of the year, mainly because we added one over at Larimer Park with the ball fields, and then we also added the soccer field, Gates Park, over at the soccer field. So in the memo up on top is the amounts that we had split out for the year for 2023. As you can see, park units, farmers markets, concert series, Freedom Fest, and Civic Park. And then down below are basically for Civic Park that we have to update, and then the park units that we have to update, add additional to those particular POs. This would be for Civic Park from September 25th through October 22nd invoices, and then for their upcoming invoices that will be in November, but for October 23rd through October 31st. So for Civic Park, we need to add an additional $149.28 onto that particular purchase order, and then the park units, which again is all the parks that we have portable restrooms are at, we need to add an additional $926.23 onto that particular PO, which the park unit PO was PO 1527 and Civic Park was 1528.
So as I understand it, you want to have a motion to just amend?
Yes, amend the motion that we did in February,
Okay.
but include the additional $149.28 for Civic Park, and then $926.23 for
Okay.
the other park units.
All right. Any comments, questions, or discussion on this matter?
You have to make a motion first.
No, it's just, we can have a comment first.
Are these winter-proofed?
Well, they would be removed after Halloween.
These are seasonal.
These are seasonal.
just seasonal,
Yeah,
okay.
so these are pretty much either May through October or April to October.
Okay.
All right, then I will entertain a motion for an additional payment to Premier Portable Restrooms for Civic Park for $149.28, and for the park units in total for $926.23, to be amended to the original PO from February of 2023.
Barb Tusley, make a motion of that.
Okay, so I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mike. Any other further discussion or comment? All in favor of this signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Item B under new business, Gate Park Improvement Project.
So, first thing is this is kind of an update, but Robinson Engineering did submit everything that we had been working on for the walking path. That was sent down to the county, Lake County, to do the approval because it involves the CDBG funds. We have sent it out to the paper. It's planning on being advertised on Friday the 27th, and then November the 3rd, which is a Friday. We have a November 7th pre-construction meeting, and then, or pre-bid opening construction meeting, and then we have a bid opening we're planning on the 21st of November. So we do plan on having everything here after, Robinson will take a look at it, assuming we get, hopefully multiple bids for our meeting on the 28th, for you guys to take a look at everything. We most likely would have to take it over to the town council after that. Because them owning Gates Park, obviously, and the CDBG funds involved with that, so.
All right,
So-
so based on that time frame, and we talked a little bit about it yesterday, that almost pushes this particular project to start sometime in early 2024, correct?
I would say so, depending on weather. If we get, maybe a decent February, maybe they can do some of the groundwork, earthwork and stuff, pulling or digging it out the path and stuff. So asphalt most likely would have to wait and stuff, but this would give us obviously a budget number
Okay.
for the year. So. So that's that one. That was just more of a FYI. So the second thing, as we were going all along here, was the walking path was always number one, and then the hard courts and soccer fields were always the part two. So at our last meeting, we made a motion to do the walking path, what option we were doing. I just wanted to have a motion here for the option for how we were going to bid out the hard courts and the soccer fields. In the packet there was the two estimates that we had that we were going back and forth with. I think the best route would be to go with the excluding alternate items, in a sense, that first item that you would have on your list, with the option of adding whatever we're removing in the bid. So I know we were going back and forth and talking how we wanted to do that. So I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page and see what you guys thought and make a motion for it.
So I guess what you're referring to is how we had talked about,
The walking path.
yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about the hard courts and stuff like that, is some of the drainage things that we may
Correct.
or may not want, or
Correct,
some of the
correct.
other things that we may or may not want.
Correct. This was, and right, and so this particular one, this first one on your packet here would remove everything, all that we talked, or not remove it, I should say, but would reduce it.
So that when we put it out for bid, they know what we're asking them for a scope of work.
Correct, but at the same time, we'll have it as an alternate, so.
Sure.
We would, in a sense, have both, but,
Well, I know in talking a little bit to Robinson, we kind of asked them to give us kind of a graduated schedule as far as if we did it all, if we did this, if, kind of a B, C plan or whatever. Is that something that you're thinking about, or that was kind of what we discussed?
yeah. The plan would be, obviously, bid out the walking path as we're doing now, and then this was gonna go right after that, pretty much.
Correct.
So,
But obviously, still two separate,
two separate.
okay.
Packages.
And we've pretty much done the walking path thing, correct?
We're pretty much squared away,
Right,
other
it's
than.
just, we're moving on now to accepting, or at least putting up the bid package
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the hard course and the soccer fields.
Correct.
But if I, maybe I misunderstood it, but I think back when we talked about it originally, we had talked about, okay, he had offered us some savings based on what we could take away.
Correct.
Okay, and while we didn't really decide on what that was, you know, what the temperature of the board was on that, I think we kind of bantered around that, you know, we could save a little here, save a little there, because the overall cost seemed to be a little bit detrimental to moving forward, so. Anybody, is that what I remember correctly?
Correct, and then we were wanting to do it the right way and making sure everything was done, you know, the right, you know, not cutting corners or anything like
Correct,
that. So,
right.
and I think by doing the excluding one, that first one, excluding alternate items would be the best route, because then we would also have it in as a alternate if you wanted to add those back in. Does that make sense?
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's a walkway, folks, you know.
Well, no, I mean, you know, we had looked at the numbers for the entire project, and it was rapidly approaching $1 million when you looked at the drainage and the thises and the that's and some of the other things that we were looking at. So, I mean, we were looking for ways of not cutting corners, but making
Yeah, no,
some
correct.
sort of a
Yeah.
savings to where it was what I consider to be a doable
Yeah,
project.
Correct, yes.
So you want us to entertain a motion to take it as was discussed, or given options for all, part? I guess maybe I'm not quite understanding what you're asking.
This first one here that says excluding alternate items, the one that's highlighted, these are the ones that are with what we discuss with the
Correct.
reduce. So what I'm looking for is basically doing this as the bid
As
package.
we discussed.
Correct,
Gotcha.
yes, as we discussed.
Okay.
But then we can though, and that second page is the cost estimate for the whole thing.
Correct.
Keeping as the plan had shown and stuff like that.
But weren't these just estimates at the time? These weren't cold, hard numbers, right? These would not be.
No. But like, just for example, like on the excluding alternate items, we had the drainage was at, I think it was at 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
This other one was at 15 feet, for example.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But we also had an option for removing the whole drainage package, correct? Didn't he give that as an option too?
no, we didn't have, not for removing the ditch. We had an option for that, for the walking path, but not for
Okay.
the,
I thought he had given us an option of removing the whole drainage infrastructure underneath to the tune of like $200,000-$300,000 for the total. If I remember correctly, but maybe I'm wrong. You remember?
I don't remember taking it all out.
yeah, I don't, we had talked about it and there
Yeah,
was.
well, I mean, I guess
Yeah.
I'm going back to try to remember the
Yeah.
discussion.
These two that you have in front of you are the only two that I have,
Okay.
based off of that, that would have been, August meeting, I think it was.
Gotcha. Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
I think what would, like, it might have been brought up to have nothing, like, just that is an option. But
Right.
we were like trying to decide.
Right.
Do we want to do it half?
Right.
Half done, or do we want to go full?
All the way
you
in,
know,
yeah.
do it
Okay.
the-
Well, I'm here to try to make sure that we cover all the bases. I'm okay with that. Right, if we have nothing else, then I will entertain a motion to put together a bid package for the hard courts and the soccer fields with the exclusions of the drainage to be only 50% 30-foot spacing as opposed to 15 feet spacing, and to eliminate the aggregate for the under drain layer that was associated with the excavation.
I'll I'll make that motion. Barbara
Okay.
Truesley.
Thanks, Barb. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Thank you, Cindy. So I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor of doing it as Superintendent O'Shea has requested, based on the information you have in item number 2, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so then we'll move forward with that. All right. Item number C, independent contract agreement.
Okay, so this is just an independent contractor for what's now be for the toddler playtime class, which is now will be the Mommy and Me playtime class that we were doing, and we have found an individual that will be taking it over. This is a monthly class. It's $45 for the class. It's for the ages 3 to 5. This agreement would basically go November and December of this year, with the intent of coming back next year and doing it for the entire calendar year. This class would be on Tuesdays over at a park building, and it would be a 75-25% split.
And this contractor's been vetted, and we're all good with that, and no issues there?
We have the liability insurance.
Yeah, we should be fine. We would still have to do the background check, now that I think of it, yeah. We would have to have her fill that out. That'd be fine. She has taught classes like this before and stuff like that. But we would have to, that's one thing we would have to do, yeah.
Background check still.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if you want to do it for November, and here we are at the tail end of October, if we table this or defer it, it's not going to happen if we need a background check.
You can approve it subject to the background check.
With approval of the.
Yeah, we can get,
approval of the
we'll
background check.
go get it tomorrow. That's, well, she was just in today. I didn't even think of it when she was in today.
That should take police department.
Nicole, you good with that? Okay.
Police department. Yeah,
Okay.
that's an hour or so.
All right, anybody have any questions? We do get a split of some of that.
Yes.
And this would start as of November.
Yeah, we were looking to start the first Tuesday in November.
And would we have to reclaim this next year, or is this something that we can,
We would have to do it again next year.
Okay.
This would just be for
it's
November.
basically a 2-month thing?
Correct. And then, I mean, the intent is to do it again for 2024, and then we can do it from, January through December, basically.
All right. Then I will entertain a motion for the Parks and Rec Board to review and approve the independent contract agreement with Margaret Comel for the 75/25% split for this toddler's playtime that will be now called Mommy and Me Playtime for the month of November and December of calendar year 2023, to be reissued again in 2024,
With approval,
if we have an approval of a background check.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Barb. There's a lot of words.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mike. So we have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion? If not, if we're all good, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes for the independent contract agreement. Okay, takes care of new business. Old business. Item 6, youth ball field lease agreements. Okay, after last night's study session, we have talked amongst ourselves, and what we would like to do is to meet independently with softball and baseball and to kind of hammer out a lease agreement that will be suitable for everyone Whether legal gets involved or not, I think it's almost imperative that they do, so that there's no questions about it. The question is, how quickly can we put this together? We were thinking, and Barb, you weren't here, but we were thinking about doing it together on one night, but independently, because they're two separate leases and two
Okay.
separate organizations. Okay, so we were thinking about sometime in the beginning part of November, away from the holiday. So Jason has brought up the calendar. Obviously, we have Veterans Day mixed in there. Anybody opposed to, like, maybe the 13th or the 14th of November?
The 13th, I will not be available.
Okay, that's a Monday, so the
Tuesday would be okay for me.
Tuesday, the 14th. Cindy, any conflicts for you?
No.
Mike, any- What's your conflict?
Patch Tuesday.
Oh,
Any Tuesday. Well, that's, yeah.
Patch Tuesday.
okay.
Okay, hang on,
He
let me see
patch.
what,
It's where you like fixes the computers and stuff. Yeah.
this would be at night. I'm having a lung biopsy in the morning, so I'm not sure how well I'm
That's fine.
gonna feel that night. Right.
What about Thursday, the 16th? Trying to stay away from Fridays, guys.
Okay, no, I'm not available then.
You're not available then either, okay.
Wednesday, no, the Wednesday not a good day.
What about Wednesday, the 8th?
We are actually open on the 7th, just in case you were curious.
Yeah, because we're not going to have an election, correct?
Correct.
Right.
The election was canceled, so.
No. Election is over. I had it.
All right. Any day that week, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Are you looking to do a study session for that?
Well, we're kind of looking to have a study session with boys baseball and girls softball separately to kind of hammer out these lease agreements. But we'd like to do it all in one night so that we're not trying to do this in a repetitive motion.
Yeah.
Because some of the legal jargon is pretty much standard and it's just a little tweak here and a little tweak there.
Gotcha.
So that's what we kind of talked about last night, and that seemed to be the best way to go. That way we're not tying up everybody's time.
Who's we?
We is us.
Us.
I don't remember that conversation at all.
Okay, well,
I'm just curious, like,
we is the board, and if you want to be a part of that, you're more than welcome. It's a study session. If you're there, you're there. If you're not, you're not. I mean, that's why I'm trying to make it accommodable for everybody.
well, I mean, I like the idea, but I wish we all were part of the discussion.
Well, if I can just add, we can't be all part of the discussion. You can't all, unless it's happening in a public forum, right? So for purposes of, that was the point of, obviously trying to coordinate that now to be able to have that discussion. As Dave said, one-on-one or, with baseball separately from softball in that regard. As I had put out to Dave last night, in that sense, the fact that to do this as a study session, obviously has full transparency so that everybody is aware of what's going on. And it's not, behind closed doors, so that this is, there's not any confusion of the situation. But, obviously, and I know that scheduling is obviously going to be an issue in that regard. I would add that just from from a legality purpose, obviously no action can be taken in that, so it's really just a discussion. It would still have to come back to a full meeting with the full board. So for purposes of the scheduling, if everyone, is not possible to be present, it's not even a situation, as long as it's advertised properly, because no action's being taken where it would even require a quorum to be present. But I think the availability of anyone who's interested in those negotiations should be there. But if meetings can't be scheduled because of availability, I just want to point out that it's not a requirement in that sense that everybody be there, or if there's, less interest to do so or whatever, because it's not a meeting where action will actually be taken. It's going to come back to.
More information than anything.
Information, discussions back and forth, exchange of information, right? And having more so just to do it for transparency purposes in the open, so that all sides are privy to the same information and those discussions are open in that regard.
I'm available the 7th and the 8th. I could be available the 13th, I just don't know.
Okay. Well, no, I don't want.
Having a
if
medical
you-
procedure
Right,
in the
no,
morning.
let's not
So
put you
I'm
through
not sure-
that.
I'm not sure what's
Um,
gonna happen.
Does that satisfy?
Yeah, well, I just didn't know anything
Okay,
about it.
but
that's
we
why
had
I
just talked about it a little bit because we figured we started the conversation yesterday, but certainly it's not gonna end there. So we have to have
Definitely.
that discussion, and I don't think that's something that should take up a regular meeting time. I think that's a study session type of thing, because there's going to be some questions that softball has, there's gonna be some questions that baseball has. So, I mean, rather than put them through one and then have to wait for their turn, I would much rather do it separately so that we, does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's get back to the calendar then. The 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th.
I'm available any of those days.
Cindy, any conflicts there for you?
Just go ahead and schedule it and I'll try to make it. The 8th, I'm not available, but it's
Okay, the 8th, that Wednesday. Mike, any conflicts for you?
6 could be, depending, if we do it like after 5, I shouldn't have an issue.
Okay. Well, because we're gonna try to get 2 in one night, that's part of our question. Could we agree on Tuesday?
Yes.
Yeah.
On what would be election day? Is that a problem for you, Nicole?
The 9th, I'm not available.
Okay.
Otherwise, yes, Tuesday's fine.
I'm trying to get as many people as can be there. Why don't we try to schedule it then for the 7th? Okay, which is a Tuesday. And what I was thinking is maybe softball at, let's say, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And give enough time for their questions and comments, and then maybe baseball at 7.
Okay.
I realize that could run us a little late, but what I'm trying to do is be able to not feel that time is going to be something that makes us have to move. I would like to give it enough time to actually have a discussion and give us a break in between to possibly discuss anything that we might have.
Possibly also come up with an alternative date, so, because obviously we're trying to comply with baseball and softball.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, so we can target the 7th. And you say you have a conflict on the 9th, Nicole?
I got other evening meetings.
Okay. And was the 8th available for anybody other than Cindy having a conflict?
I'm available.
Okay.
Function in the morning, but that's okay.
I'm good all week, except Monday.
Okay. Well, then maybe what we'll do is we'll shoot for the 7th and use the 8th as a backup. And like I said, it is a study session, so whoever can be here and be a part of it, you're more than welcome. And like I said, we want to get this over with so that we come into next year all set to go. We get everything signed, sealed, and delivered, and there's no issues moving forward in the spring. We don't need that hanging over their head or our head. We need to, clean that up and get that done. So, Mike, does that work for you?
That's fine.
I know we have a couple of the softball people here. Does either one of them,
Would you do 5 on the 8th as well, as an alternative?
pardon me?
5 p.m. as an alternative on the 8th as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Softball good with that? Anybody here from baseball?
Yeah, I'm Joe Bonanno.
Yeah, Joe.
Kevin,
Yeah.
how you doing, Nicole? Nice to meet you.
Does that date work as well?
The 7th will not work. The 8th. Yeah, and also is Alex. Have you been in touch with Alex, Nicole?
You know, I exchanged
Okay.
emails and faxes this morning.
So I was not even aware of the meeting last night.
Okay.
I didn't get an invite. Nobody reached out.
Okay. Yeah, it was.
Study session you're referring to, I apologize.
Okay.
The council was.
No, and that wasn't our intent. Okay. So, I mean, we advertised it, but we didn't, we published the minutes, but I mean, at the same token, softball was here. And, there was no one here last night from baseball. Not that it would have mattered much, because basically it was nothing more than a comment opportunity. I don't know, you can listen to it on YouTube if you want. I mean, what we had to say. We basically didn't say much. We allowed them to speak their piece. You will be allowed to speak your piece. But we want to rectify this, but we want to do it publicly so that there's no questions. So, does the 8th work for softball? Can we do that? I mean, I would like to get it done in one night, not make everybody come back twice.
Either night works for us.
Okay. So can we just then target the 8th? 5 o'clock for softball? Okay. 7 o'clock for baseball? Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay. And that way, what we'd like to do is, in the meantime, put together some sort of a rough draft that you guys can look at and see what we're kind of thinking. And then that way you can have prepared questions or comments or whatever you think you might need to come back with. I don't want to spring it on you that night and have you huddle in a corner and try to figure out what your options are or how you want to proceed. Does that make sense? Okay.
And also at the end of tonight, there's public comment where.
Right, absolutely. If
You
there's
have time to
anything you
speak
need
to-
to say, we'll have a public comment tonight, so you can, you can do that also,
Appreciate it.
okay? All right, so let's shoot then for the 8th. And like I said, whoever can make it, we'll do the best we can. Let's shoot for softball at 5 o'clock and baseball at 7 o'clock. And we'll try to get something to, is that a workable time frame for you, Nicole, to put something together that we can at least offer them to look at?
I think in the form of maybe a itemized list.
Right.
With the assistance of, obviously, Mike, obviously, you know, the terms in that would have to be worked out more specifically thereafter, but at least.
I'm just basically talking a basic rough draft or something that we can use as a starting point.
It won't be a draft.
Okay.
I mean, I'd be wasting my time and spending your money, quite frankly.
Okay.
To do a draft without having what those details and everything are going to be. I think we'd probably be better off to do bullet points as to what those kind of itemized priorities are for
Okay.
both this board as well as hopefully can get those for softball and baseball and then, you know, to go from there. I think until, again, I'd be doing alternative arguments or alternative positions throughout the whole thing to try, and I think it might be more of a waste of time and money, you know, without having to.
But I guess what I'm asking for is can we give them our talking points so that they at least have something to
Yep.
look at and be able to rebut or to comment on as opposed to springing upon them and have them go, oh, yeah, we weren't prepared for this.
Absolutely, and I will, you know, be in contact with both Mr. Nuff and Mr. Pitnowski, the lawyers that are involved for softball and baseball. That hopefully we can kind of exchange information to that extent too, kind of what the priorities are of the, and I shouldn't say priorities, considerations, offer, you know, kind of priorities in that sense of what are the items that are the most important each side and to try and see if there is an ability to reach either some consensus on those things or at least have those discussions. Preferably so we're not coming into the meeting blind.
Okay. Anybody else got a question or a comment concerning that?
Can I ask one?
Absolutely.
Would that be just changes to the existing language or?
We are
bullets?
starting fresh.
Fresh, okay.
We're not gonna go off from that. There's too many issues already with that. Clean slate.
Okay.
You wanna use that as your basis, maybe, that's up to you, but we're gonna be drafting a new.
But I guess, you know, we're not on the clock, but yes, we are because we'd like to get it all cleaned up over the winter so that there is no issues moving forward, no questions about how the two organizations can proceed with their signups or registrations and any of that. So that's kind of like, we're trying to move that forward because I know as soon as January 1 hits, you guys are pounding on the door trying to get registrations and all that kind of stuff, so.
We can start before that with the advertising and stuff.
Okay. I don't think it's gonna change, but I mean, we're trying to expedite it so it's all said and done.
Yeah, we're just gonna proceed as normal until we come to terms.
Okay, great. Anything else on that? All right, so we have a date. We use that as a parameter. And, like I said, it is a study session, so whoever can meet, and if legal from both sides could be there, that's great. If they can't, whatever, we'll try to work it out. Okay, item B, the 2024 St. John Farmers Market. Any questions or concerns about that? We had a discussion last night with some of the vendors. We got mostly positive comeback and feedback about Lake Central with some tweaking possibilities that Rebecca commented on and said that could be accommodated, correct? Any comments you want to make tonight? No, you don't want to say anything? Okay. Patrick, do you want to chime in on anything as it concerns the farmer's market?
I can just address the one main concern that I know of, that was we do a better job of marketing. And I can say to that point, we've already established several things for the 2024 campaign, whether it be the town planner calendar. We've been talking to South Shore up in there. So we've been doing several things to address that exact issue. So if that is one thing that I know they have been saying, and that is a big concern as far as, letting the public know. And that's something I do want to address and make sure that they know that we are going to do, and we have plans in place for 2024.
Are we gonna do advertising in newspapers and?
Well,
The
let's,
newspaper, I guess. I can't
Let's-
say we don't
I
have
think,
an option.
am I wrong in assuming that the general consensus was to move to Lake Central permanently?
I think the general consensus is we're not. It would behoove us to stay there and at least give it one more full year to see where we're at. Yes.
I'll say, I unfortunately did not make the study session last night. So basically, there was no major complaints. Did we lose any great amount of vendors coming to that location?
Vendors specifically, I can, Rebecca can talk to the vendors
I
point
do
specifically.
apologize.
We didn't lose any vendors
Okay.
from the move, so, no. And we actually gained, I think, when we started advertising the move, we seen an uptick in, like, new people inquiring. So we, like, in that first month, I would say actually like 6 weeks, we had quite a few people, like trial vendors.
Okay.
And most trial vendors, if we don't have, if we don't have a vendor there selling something specific, like if they're selling macaroons, if we don't have someone already there selling macaroons and they liked it, they usually come back as half season or full season, which is what we've seen on the second half of the move.
Okay, as long as everybody's happy, we're getting more business, it sounds like a go-go.
Well, I mean, I think for everyone's benefit, then we need to come to that determination tonight, is why we're here. I mean, I would like to have any open discussion on any opposing to moving permanently to Lake Central. And if there is, that's fine, we'll listen to it, but at the same token,
Oh, I asked my question, so that's all, were they staying, are we getting more?
I think
Can't ask for
next
anything-
year,
Anything better than
we may
that.
have a few more conflicts with school events. I don't know. It's hard to tell at this point, but we'll do the best we can. I think you've addressed, or at least begun to address, the grading issue there in the parking lot. Because I think while they all love to be close to the bathrooms, some of that grading has presented its own challenges that we quite frankly weren't considering, correct?
Yeah, I think you heard from Beam Me Up. She was the woman with the coffee. So she sells liquid, and she's next to the bathroom. She makes it work. So yeah, anyone who thinks like it's a hindrance to their business where that grading issue is, we've already kind of like started to reconfigure the layout to where they'd be on flatter surface.
Okay. And how soon do you put out that for next year, that information?
January.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this needs to be rectified now,
Yes.
so that you guys have a chance to actually get your ducks in a row so that you're ready to go for January.
That would be ideal. Yeah.
Okay.
And have you already contracted with the school for 2024?
I have. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I already spoke with Erin.
And I had a conversation, I believe they're not going to make you move
Yeah.
if there should be any other conflicts.
Yeah, she assured me
They're going to work
that-
around all that.
Yep.
yeah.
The Sundays are all open for us during that time frame. Yeah.
That's a bonus, because we anticipated potentially some conflicts.
Yeah. We moved once. It wasn't, I actually, a lot of the vendors didn't mind it at all. I think there was one
That
vendor.
was the one I was at, and yeah, it almost seemed too much room, because they
Yeah.
were able to spread out, and
Yeah.
it
But
is what it is. Okay. Well then, I guess I would entertain a motion to make a permanent move to Lake Central High School starting in calendar year 2024 for the farmer's market. And I'm open-ended to whether you want to make it another year of trial or if you want to revisit this, or however you want to do it. But,
Are there any pros or cons to extending it or not extending it? Does anybody have any ideas at that thing, going?
I think that's more of a conversation we would have to have with Lake Central than anything else. I know for the 2024 season, we have had that conversation with Aaron. As far as, David, what you're saying, I would say let's just talk about the 2024 season as of tonight, just because I haven't had a further conversation with Lake Central and Aaron.
Okay.
so then I will just make that recommendation just for the 2024 season, and we'll kind of revisit if necessary, or whatever, we think. You got any comment, Mike?
Actually, I was just thinking about, and we've kind of talked about it internally too, but keeping it at LC, obviously we're talking about now for 2024, but what about, they mentioned about fees even yesterday and stuff. Is that something you want to look at about keeping it the same?
Well, I think I would leave that up to Shelby and Rebecca to give us a recommendation based on their initial, what people coming back to us and saying, yes, we're in, no, we're not, and seeing where,
No, that's fine.
was it a I don't think it was a prohibitive number, right?
Oh, no. We've had the same fee for a long, long time,
Yeah.
looking
Can
back
I
at the
ask
history and
what
stuff.
the fee
so.
is that you charge?
It's $350, $350 full-time, that's 26 weeks. $250
That's
for
that's very-
part-time, which is 13
that's-
weeks, and it's $50 for a trial.
Oh, that's
So,
very.
but normally the fees got to come out. They're going to have to come up here anyway.
Yeah.
So more likely in December we'll have some other fees for 2024 that we'll put together that will have to come forward anyway and stuff like that. So
Have you gone and talked to any other, town and stuff, what they're charging? Because I know how much money I got from the Halloween event from people. And I got a lot more than you guys are charging, that's for sure. For just a one day gig.
So I looked at Chesterton, Whiting, Cedar Lake, and Hobart, I believe. And yeah, they all charge significantly more.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah,
gonna say,
'cause even-
does anybody know what Sherrville charges? I can find out, though.
Oh, I'm not
for
sure.
a full time though, basically they're basically paying us $13.46 a day for a full time.
Yeah,
For
and
a
that's not
market.
very much.
Yeah, I
No,
think
and that's for full time. That's for
Yeah,
full-time.
I
think
know.
the-
And what would be your recommendation? Have you and Selby even discussed that?
we have, yeah. I'm not 100% sure, but we were thinking possibly at least a 10% increase. I think when the median amount from all the markets that I looked at, they charge about 25% more.
Okay.
Like it varies though, like if you're full season, there's an incentive, you could pay less. If you're doing it, half season, you pay a
Well, why
little
don't
bit
you
more.
do this? Why don't you and Shelby have a conversation and come up with a constructive number that we can look at in November?
Sure.
Would that be possible?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and then that way you'll be able to advertise that for January when you put out your flyers and say, hey, this, that, or whatever,
Sure thing.
okay?
Yeah.
And, this is not a for-profit, quote-unquote, event, but at the same token, if we're gonna have music and we're gonna do some of these other things, then to make it at least a lateral move that it's not costing us money would be a good thing too, so,
I agree.
okay, sounds good.
But we have to get money in somewhere.
Well, I understand. Oh, no, but you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
We're not
Right.
there. It's a town event that we're basically trying to, increase. And obviously now we have the space to increase it. So I think attrition could be our moneymaker too. If we double the size of our vendors, then,
Oh, that's true.
okay.
This is very reasonable, I'm telling you.
Well,
Very reasonable.
I wouldn't know. All right, so then again, I will reissue my motion. I will entertain that motion then for the calendar year 2024 for the farmer's market from April through October, that we permanently move to Lake Central High School and do the best we can with what we have, and hope that we will look at the fees and, adjust them accordingly.
Usually we'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Barb. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. So we have a motion, we have a second. Any other further discussion or comments? Then all in favor of this motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Yes.
We can possibly back up, baseball, date and coordination. I just emailed, Attorney Kudnowski, and he is not available that night
Okay.
at all. I think it is important that he's present,
Okay.
to actually have a, productive conversation since he has been involved in this throughout. I'm assuming that's why you came back in as well.
Yes.
Okay.
And I know that Attorney Neff just left, obviously in an effort to try and keep these on the same night. I was trying to find out if there were certain dates, because I know he has a lot of night meetings as well. They're off limits for him, and he hasn't yet responded. I don't know if you have that knowledge.
I do not, no. I would not be available November 7th.
Or
All right.
asking about that.
Is that the 14th? Did we talk about the 14th at all?
We did, and then I was told by Jason that that's a no-go, right? The 14th? Okay.
I don't know if it's a situation wanting to reschedule both of them then, or.
I'm trying to avoid coming back twice. That's my, and putting everybody through some of the same basic discussion.
So the only other thing is that week, then the 15th, we're not good, or sick, right, so, correct? That Wednesday, we weren't,
The Wednesday was a problem
okay.
for someone. The 9th was a problem for Nicole. The Monday's kind of an issue for you.
Yeah, I just have no, I might,
Jason's got his arrow circling around the 2nd of November. Is that a better date? That Thursday?
I don't have anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. The 2nd is fine with me.
Okay.
Is that good, can we be here? Yeah, okay.
Just not the 14th,
Just not
or
the
any
14th.
second Tuesday.
Mr. Bernardo, is that a conflict for you on the 2nd?
I'll be coming home from Iowa. What time would you do it?
Well,
That's 7 for him.
yeah, we were talking 7 o'clock. I guess the only other thing is we could leave softball on that Tuesday as it originally was and move baseball. I don't like that idea, but it is what it is. Because I think we've got way too many schedules that we're trying to
Yeah.
coordinate in a small window of opportunity. It's not like we're putting this date out 3 months in advance.
Right.
That's the issue, right?
Would the 2nd at 7 o'clock be all right with you?
Yeah, I'll be coming home from Iowa. Yeah, I'll make it work.
Well, I guess then we can reach out to softball and see if we can move that to the 2nd. And if not, then we'll leave them on the 8th, right? That's when we had them scheduled originally.
Yes.
And
Proposing November 2nd at 7 PM.
if that extra couple hours will help you,
Yeah. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm driving back from Des Moines.
okay. So then let's,
That needs to be prepared from our end, or, because that's next Thursday?
we had
The
it
hope
next-
would be,
I'm sorry?
the hope would be is that, yes, there'd be.
No, anything from, do you need anything from me?
The hope would be is that you, with the assistance of your lawyer, would be able to, kind of have a list of, for, your priorities, what your proposals are, things of that, even if it's just as a bullet point. So we can have a productive, that we can exchange ahead of time even too, to have a productive conversation. So I don't know if that's too short of a window under that circumstance. I don't know, I guess let's digress for a moment too, to you and Patrick, Mike,
The 2nd is fine.
on the scheduling
Yeah.
for that, for the work that the two of you were, or the information the two of you were compiling.
No, the 2nd is fine.
well, do we want to try to see if softball can accommodate us on that Thursday?
Might as well try. That's-
Okay.
Kutnowski is available on the
What?
2nd at 7.
Okay,
I just got a confirmation from him.
okay, so that's your We'll put, one way or the other, we'll go there with you, okay? Is that okay?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay, and then we'll see if we can get softball to move.
So as of right now, it's November 8th for softball at 5.
Yes.
November 2nd, baseball at 7.
Correct.
Maybe softball at 5.
Right.
Got it.
Hopefully, we can iron that out in the next 24 hours and see how that flies. Anybody else have a conflict? I don't even look at my schedule. I don't even.
You may want to do that.
Nah. I control my own destiny until my wife changes my mind.
November was, let's have all the procedures that you have to have done this in
Yes,
November.
yes, I
Oh,
understand.
that's cute.
All right, let's go with that. I will contact softball tonight and see if we can get that to work. If not, we will leave it on their original date and just have to do what we have to do. Anything else, Nicole?
No, in fact, I will see if I can get a response via email from Eric here quickly too, but Alex confirmed as well, so between that and Mr. Bonato, that
Well, will the meeting be in here?
Yes. Okay,
we'll propose to him 5 o'clock on the 2nd.
okay. Oh, you contacted his lawyer?
I'm gonna try, yeah,
Okay.
hopefully if he's.
Well, maybe we'll have an answer yet tonight. That'd be great.
We will see.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, that's no problem.
Thanks, nice meeting you.
You as well.
All right.
Here, Joe.
Item C,
Yes.
Christmas in the Park update. Okay, that was part of our conversation last night at the study session too. I know that we had a couple of proposals here that we would need to move forward on.
Did we vote on this? Market?
Yes,
Okay,
we voted on the market.
okay. I'm old.
That's okay. The market thing is done. We can lay that one down. It was Nicole that wanted to go back on because she had.
I
gotten-
apologize.
No, it's okay. I would much
That
rather.
would be, that was my thought. Much better now than trying to do this
Correct.
tomorrow.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so we are up to item C, Christmas in the Park update. Okay, we had 4 and then 5 and now 6 proposals for some items for Christmas in the park, whether it was lighting, this, that, or whatever. And we've gotten more updates today. Patrick, if you could fill us in a little bit on that.
Yeah, just the update that we got from today from Nate was taking out the Santa's workshop like we discussed yesterday. And then I did have him go through giving us a update on the invoice or the quote, just to tell us, make sure we know which ones are permanent structures, and just so you guys know and are aware which ones are the permanent structures, and that these are not going to be taken off or put back up or
Okay.
anything like that.
All right. All right, so there was lots of opportunity to look at different proposals there. The one that was kind of pushed forward was the one with the RGP?
RGB. If it makes it easy,
RGB.
red, green, blue. If it makes
Okay, red, green, blue.
that's what it stands for.
Lighting, which is more of a permanent / programmable. That's the point. Everything else that we were looking at was not programmable, correct?
On the other quotes, correct.
On the other packages?
Yes.
And then the latest update we got was then the takedown would be less too then, correct?
Correct. Yeah. If you take a look at the latest proposal, he actually did put down takedown, and he quoted it at, or I'm sorry, not takedown. This is for consecutive years. So if it's set up for the years coming up and for continuous years, so that's on the back of the quote. That's that 8,300. So yeah, if you look at, yes, obviously this.
He actually just sent a new updated one at 451 here. It's basically the same numbers except for that 83 that Pat just said would actually be now 6,853.
That's another 1,500 less.
And that's for that bottom number down. That would have been down there.
And that is mostly because it is they're permanent structures. You're not having to deal with the them bringing out their their bucket trucks and taking down and putting up every year. It's a permanent structure, and like we were talking about yesterday, them being permanent structures, it opens the door for us to utilize these lights for
Other events.
a lot of other events, many other events. Correct.
Now, there was some question, I know, and we really didn't get into that part of it last night. There was some question about, because Joe wasn't here, as far as funding goes, there is a small budget, right, for Christmas in the park? Didn't you have something to that effect?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
The one he was referring to would have been just the Christmas in the Park fund, but that particular fund mainly would have been as for the trees.
Right, no, I understand.
Supplies and stuff like that.
Right. No, I mean, it wasn't going to facilitate this
Correct.
request, is what I was saying.
Right, I don't think any of this was considered for cost or expenses for Christmas in the park.
Correct.
Yeah, so this is something above and beyond.
Correct.
That scope. I mean, and it is a significant amount. I mean, I will point that out to the board, so, it's a significant amount, it's a significant investment. I mean, it's a decision that you're gonna have to make. I mean, whether or not you guys are gonna use the park impact fee money for this, or how you guys proceed with that.
That was kind of how we were looking.
Yeah.
I mean, do you see a conflict with that?
I would refer that to Nicole as far as any kind of conflict, but, you know, again, this would go toward your park impact fee money. And again, this is a significant amount. It's not a few $1,000s investment. This is something that, is gonna be, an expense to the town, to the parks, particular. And, $6,800 to come back and redo everything on an annual basis that's not a horrible figure.
Right.
But, that the upfront capital cost on this thing are
It's considerable.
a lot.
But you seen the original bid, right?
Yes.
month ago?
Which was almost double this.
Correct.
Yeah, so,
So, I mean, we've made some revisions, we've made some concessions, and at the same token, we wanted the best of the brightest, just to see what that was gonna come to, because I'll be honest with you, I don't think anybody here had a clue on what that was. You know what I'm saying? So, that's kinda how we looked at it, and then we figured we could chisel some of that down based on what we could do and what we would like to have them done. I think, to the point last night was, because of, let's say, 70% of it to be permanent, stay up year-round, and be able to be used year-round, was our, for lack of a better word, our disclaimer on using park impact fee, and basically, it's an improvement of Prairie West Park. We can move more events there if necessary, and just use it on a year-round basis, whether it's, as we discussed, Easter, Independence Day, St. Patrick's Day, Halloween, Thanksgiving. I mean, there's lots of options.
Sweetest Day.
Right. Well, right.
There's literally a Batman's Day, so don't get it twisted.
And I think Patrick's mind started swirling the minute he thought he could, start bringing out Boss's Day and stuff like that. So
That's right.
That was kind of
Maybe Employees Day.
I mean, there's one figure on here that's just particularly a lot.
The tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big tree.
I want to see this tree, $36,000 tree. That's gotta be awesome.
And that's a green tree. That's a permanent tree, and it would be out there all year.
That's a real
It looks
tree.
just like a tree.
No.
It's a fake
No,
tree.
it's a fake
but
tree.
It's
A real fake
synthetic.
tree.
It's a real fake tree.
Yeah.
Can we plant a real tree? Just
We had talked about that, but we like the real fake tree that we can,
Come back in
If this
50,
ain't
50
colors.
And
years.
there's
Fake
three
is-
different
fake is
colors,
okay.
right? How
We
wide
can
is
have-
it? 20 foot tall. How wide is this? Is
and
90.
Jason says we can
90.
superimpose your face
That'd be
on
great,
that
right?
tree,
Looks
and
like
then you
another-
can
yeah,
do all the
yeah.
talking points.
It's hollow in the middle. It's all hollow in the middle.
Right, Jason?
Because all the lights are on the outside.
I mean,
I actually
it's a
I
big
think I have
investment,
specs
guys.
of
It
it
is.
somewhere.
It is a
here.
big investment.
It's pretty awesome.
But that's just it. We're thinking we
It's
have a
pretty
5-year
sweet.
warranty with
It's
that,
pretty
so
sweet.
it's,
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. What's the?
So,
warranty and-
yeah, that's a great question, Barb. So the reason we're having Nate install it like this is because he is the one who is certified, and there's a certification that comes along with installing this to make them permanent structures. And with that certification, it does give us that 5-year warranty. Now, again, this is something that we definitely I plan on utilizing for the more than 5 years, and like Mike was saying, like you guys were all saying, the sky is the limit as far as what events we can be running in this. And to me, it just opens up the door for a lot more opportunity to highlight what we just did at the Boo Bash. I mean, there were thousands of people at the park.
And you didn't charge anything.
No.
Okay, there we have to look at income at some point.
Barb's all about the money.
I am. I'm sorry. I'm a money girl. We had a real good time and stuff, but we do not, as I understand it, get tax dollars from any place here, and at some point we're going to have to look at the fact that we're going to have to charge for things.
You're not wrong. I mean, you're absolutely not wrong. But I don't think you start that off right off the bat when you don't have anything to charge for. I mean, this year has been very much a let's reinvigorate the programs that we have here. Let's reinvigorate the recreational activities and events that we have here. I 100% agree with you. My mind, I'm a salesman. I mean, that's my history. That's my past. I 100% agree with you. Return on investment is something that is always in the back of my mind. But to that point, with something like this and us bringing more events over there, it does lead to vendors being out there, so we can get more income from the vendors. It brings us to, maybe we do eventually turn it into having a kid zone there and a game zone there where we can be charging a minimal fee for that. I 100% agree with you. My mind is always there too. Return on investment is something that I always do think about. But it's also one of those things where we're a parks and recreation department. We're a community parks and recreation department, and I want to make sure that we are bringing as much as we can to the people of St. John that we can, and in the best way that we can.
Okay. All right. Moving forward here, I know each and every one of you have given this some consideration, and I'm not opposed to going any different direction that you want to go, but it's my personal recommendation that we go with the Platinum 2.0 plan that we've got the final grade from Nate's Landscaping, and put that in place, because it is it literally starts a month from now. So
Well-
we have to move.
So you don't have a request to purchase on this for this evening, so I
Correct.
don't know how you guys would want to move forward on this. Nicole, could they do this by a simple motion to do the approval on this? And approve
To
the,
appropriate the funds?
right,
That's your question?
that is the question.
What are we looking at, the 89,000?
Compared to.
79.7.
It's like
What do you
70.
alternatively
Here.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they don't have a formal appropriation in front of them.
I mean, they've got the total cost of the expense,
Yeah.
but there's no, what would typically be a request to purchase for the clerk treasurer's office.
I just right. We have no contract to.
If they approve one of the estimates because of the breakdown, where then that can, to approve that and then appropriate the funds accordingly based upon that. To then, should be able to then have that prepared.
Do we have a contract yet at all?
Well, this would be it as far as the
This would-
agreement with it.
Well, we would have to give him, we'd have to give Superintendent O'Shea the right to sign
Right.
on this agreement.
Yeah, right.
Did we seek other quotes?
Oh, I'm
from
sorry,
other
this is an
companies?
agreement. They could just approve the agreement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I
didn't
did.
see
Yes.
that.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
your
at the bottom
question.
of
Yes.
that.
Were they with different vendors?
We did reach out to different vendors,
Right.
yes. A few of them, actually. And, we got, we did get some prices from other ones. Pat got some just direct sales type stuff too.
So, yeah, go ahead.
But a lot of them would be unable to have done this, like the RGB lighting and the like the permanent structure. Some of the other ones was just,
Seasonable.
C7, C9 light bulbs, kind of, obviously what we would have now and stuff. So.
Yeah.
I just find it difficult to spend 80,000 on lights that we already have. We have pretty much everything we need. The town usually gives us about 10,000 a year to work on the park. I think that's more than enough to keep this going. Not saying that's not a good idea. I just think right now, and I keep going back to the gates because we're cutting down on the drainage because we want to save money, but then we're going to spend $80,000 on lights at Prairie West. And like I said, it's, to bring people to this event is huge. It's been huge for years. And I think if we'd have thought, hey, we're going to take it on this year and we're going to spend 80,000, I think we're all going to go, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it just seems like a lot.
I don't disagree with you at all. And to that same point, in my mind, you're absolutely right. And what we've talked about is when you are putting in something like a park, let's go to the gates. You're serving a very limited community and population, maybe 1% of this population. In something like this, you're able to reach not only a big or diverse.
But we already have it. That's my point. We already have this. We
You
have
have-
all this
you have-
stuff
you have
for
what?
Christmas in the park. We have all the
Yeah,
lights, we have all the decorations.
100% agree. From what I'm understanding and from what I've seen, what we have, you'd have to add pieces to what we have. You'd have to
They
add.
do that- They do that every year.
Correct.
And
But
that's where the money that we get from, I'm not saying town and council will give us money, but usually I think we get like $8,000 or $10,000 they give us. We charge people per tree. That's usually what they pay for the tree lights
Correct.
from.
You're not wrong, and I 100% agree. You could do that again this year, where you are adding pieces to what we currently have. But then you're going back to piecemealing this together. And what we've seen, and what I've seen, is you have some lights that are warm white is not necessarily warm white all the way around. So you have warm white, off white, eggshell white, and you start to see the datedness of the event when you are piecemealing it together. I 100% agree. This is a big undertaking, a big expense, but like we were talking about, it's something that is going to be able to utilize for the next 5 to 10 years. One, we can utilize it for multiple events, and then for anybody who does take this over in the future, we have a blueprint and a way of this. It's going to be a seamless transition no matter who takes it over.
I mean, what about opposite? Start losing stuff. So this year we do the pavilion. We do one thing. Kind of like piecemeal, but opposite. It's like, it's like we have a lot. We're starting to lose stuff. Let's go all out on the pavilion this year. So then we do the pavilion itself. The next year maybe we could do the bathroom. Maybe we could do that. Then we kind of.
I thought the same thing, but one of the things that I was talking to a couple of the contractors, you are kind of not when you lose the illusion of what the RGB and that programmable lighting is when you just have one structure in the park that's programmable. It's one of those things where it's like, well, that's cool, but why is it here? If it's just the pavilion, if it's just Santa's workshop that's doing all the cool little dancing to the music and color changing lights, again, that's cool, but it's only in that one spot. You don't have that full effect of this. Again, I understand 100% that this is a big undertaking. This is also for the community as a whole, rather than just our skateboarders, our baseball players, our basketball players, our pickleball players. This is for the community as a whole. Yeah.
Will they be able to get this done?
Yes.
Okay. We have a guarantee that if we say yes, that they will be able
We
to
are
get
in
it
the
all.
11th hour, but
Yeah,
yes.
right, exactly, that's what
Come
I'm
up with a
getting at.
decision tonight, and yes.
That, do we have a guarantee from them that, this will be a go for this year?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Any other question. So I'm gonna gather from this, Pat, and Mike, you can chime in here too, that this is your recommendation as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah, no,
You on board with that? Okay.
yeah, I think this would be, I know it's a big expense, but I think it's, no different than when we put in a playground and you had the pour in place, and that's for the, the young families who have the young kids. The amount of people we get at Prairie West Park is, there are a lot of people who use that park, which is great, and it's a beautiful playground that's there. But I do think this is a good thing, not just for park-wise, but I think for the town as a whole.
Okay.
And this will require an additional appropriation?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, all the paperwork would have to be done, obviously, too, yeah.
Right, but if we bring a recommendation to the board and get a favorable vote, we can move forward with this, get this in place, because like I said, and to Pat's point, it is literally a month away.
Right.
So it would have to be done ASAP. Okay. Any other questions, concerns? I appreciate I did not expect everybody to have the same opinion as myself or anybody else, so I just want to make sure that no one can say that we didn't hear any and all as it concerns to this. So if we bring up a motion, I would like to have a roll call vote. And I say that only because I think we need to be clear on what our opinion is. Okay? You follow what I'm saying? And so that we can't say, well, I said nothing or did nothing or whatever. So, I mean, that's how I would like to proceed with this.
Okay.
So I will entertain a motion to work with Nate's Landscaping on the Platinum 2.0 lighting project for an estimated amount of $79,744 to be appropriated from the park impact fee, and give Superintendent O'Shea the right to sign on the contract to get this moving forward as
Can we
soon
make that all in the same motion to give him?
as soon as possible.
Yes, okay. I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mark.
Trusley.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Thank you, Cindy. So I have a motion, and I have a second. Mike, if you would do a roll call vote, please, I would appreciate it.
Cindy Suze,
Yes.
Mike Moffett,
No.
Barb Tuesley,
Yes.
and Dave Biesel.
Yes. So based on the quorum, it's a 3-1 vote. So it is passed. I appreciate everybody's comments going onto this. I realize it's not an easy decision. I also realize that I think at the end of the day, it's something that will be able to be a staple in our park for time to come, and we can expand on it with other events.
Yes, and I think it's one that in the future, that we can be at such an extraordinary event that we might be able to make money off of it, which is where.
We're gonna put you in charge of making money,
This
Barb.
where I always, you have to realize that in my regular job, this is all I do.
Okay, item D, Parks and Recreation 5-year master plan update.
One other thing on the Christmas in the park.
Okay.
On a separate thing, this morning I sent out an email about just a little painting, a mural.
Oh, yeah, I did see
So
that.
I do have that in your packet as well. That is in the same Christmas in the Park packet. I just wanted you to take a look at it and see if it was something that you guys thought would be worthwhile. I did think there would have been 2 spots, basically. I thought one for the entrance into where the pavilion would be. And that's the one design you see with the door. And the second one basically would have been in the packet as well. That would have been the backdrop mural, basically. That would have been more for, pictures and stuff that would have had.
This is from the same artist that did Heron Park Splash
Yeah.
Pad and
Yeah.
the skate park?
Yeah, yeah. The quotes are on there too, so you can take a look at it. He sketched those based on just asking, see, what would be some options and stuff like that. And then there's the quotes for the two of them, if you want to take a look at them, if that's something you want to entertain. Obviously, he does a very good job.
He needs a door handle on the door.
Well, that's that would be.
I just want to point that out.
Yeah, that would be an existing door
Oh,
that we would have there and stuff. But if that's something you want to entertain, these were just some options he provided me as of this morning, actually. And we've been talking about it over the last week, but he got it back to me this morning.
And does his time frame work with our expedited?
Yeah. For these ones, I was thinking, the one with the backdrop mural wall, because he had, if we did the park logo on there, I would take that out of the 2204 fund, out of there. The Santa Workshop, I was thinking that would come out of the Christmas in the Park fund.
Okay.
So
the total I see here is $1,250, is that correct?
well, for the mural, for this guy.
Okay.
This guy, yeah.
And then the other one is,
It was 1,100 for the other one.
so we're looking at a total of like 2,300?
Yeah, which I would put on I would put on RTP as well and stuff like that. But yeah, so I just wanted to see if that's something you guys would want to do.
All right, any comments or questions on that? Has anybody seen the splash pad or the skate park murals? I have. Looks great. I like it a lot.
Taking a picture of some.
Any comments in a positive or negative idea? And this is Lula Bells Studios. Is that what I'm reading it right? Lula Ballroom? Lula Ballroom?
Those are K's. Those are K's.
Oh. Lula Baca.
Lua Baca Studio.
Lula Baca Studio. So no one has any questions? Yes. That's fine. Thank you. Do you have anything? I have nothing to report. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it, Joe.
Yeah. So if something you want to do, then I just wanted to see if we want to proceed with these two options, or one or none.
Well, I say let's go for them both, and if you'd like to entertain.
Okay. I will entertain a motion then to purchase two murals from Lula Baca Studio, both of them for the Christmas in the Park event, with the total number being $2,350. And we will have to get an RTP, but we will give the Park Supervisor Mike O'Shea, authorized to sign a contract for this.
I'll make that motion, so Trusley.
Thank you, Barb. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. Do we have a motion? We have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Is this done on something that can last from year to year?
Yeah, this will be done in 2 4x8s, and we would be able to fold it and store it and stuff. So it would be movable. We would
Reusable.
reusable
Okay.
from year to year, and weatherproof.
It could be right in front of your house, Barb.
I haven't even realized, I have an acre of land, there, so you do
I know
whatever
that,
you
that's why
want,
I'm saying
whatever
that.
you want with my property. I do have, just want to bring one thing about with all of the stuff that we voted on. Is that light going to affect any of the homes there where they're going to complain?
I don't think so. I think it's more up front.
Are you talking about Christmas specifically?
Yes, yeah, with all of that I should have mentioned when I was thinking about, is the lighting going to, like, people going to say, you know?
No more than any other year. We're done by 9 o'clock on any of the events. So our event is done 9 o'clock, and
Okay.
and we'll have.
Being left on all night where somebody would say,
I would prefer not to leave it on all night due to cost
Costs?
expenditures. that's
but
my
if they were
opinion.
LED, and which point, the LED lights you can live on forever and nobody.
Sure, true,
has
very
said
true.
that. Okay,
No, yeah.
just wanted to put that out there.
All right, now we'll go to item D, Parks and Recreation 5-year master plan update.
Okay, so this is just, I don't really have anything right now, but this is just an update. We'll have some, well, I take that back. You guys already okayed the master plan last month when we had the proposals opened up
The
and
bids,
stuff.
right?
As we stand right now, we do have the contract. Nicole is just looking over the legal information for the 5-year plan. Is at that $40,000. So once we kind of iron out a few things, we haven't signed it yet or anything like that, we'll sign it and then, get that.
Well, we authorized you to handle that, correct?
We already did, yeah,
Right,
yeah,
that's what I
yeah,
thought.
yeah. So, but I just wanted to, this was just basically just an update.
Nicole's got plenty of time. I mean,
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I would appreciate that. Okay, because, yeah, we would kind of expect maybe some sort of a rough draft by next meeting? Isn't that kind of our rough draft
That's what-
target deadline?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we had said, and that's, still a possibility. I haven't given them back the packet yet, signed, saying,
Okay.
okay, go, or anything like that. So, we wanted to go through some of the language beforehand, but, what we said, the 40,000 was okayed, for that to start. So that will be, picking up here, so.
Okay. All right, so that's that. Reports, well, we heard, we kind of jumped ahead. Joe
Oh,
said.
sorry, under any and all, I had one other thing.
We haven't
Once
got
we
to any
there
and all
stuff
yet.
like that, yeah. Never mind then.
Jumping.
We're working our way that
Oh,
way.
getting there.
We jumped from A to B with the town manager because Joe had to leave. He said he had nothing. We'll go back to A, Town Council Liaison Report. Mr. Aurelio, anything you would like to?
Yes, I would like a couple things. I do want to thank the park board for their kind of like a bold vision here. So it is difficult to spend money. I think it's always good to have that point of view. But I do think that at times it's kind of like redoing your bathroom, right? Sometimes you just want to get the sink, but it really needs to be redone, right? And it costs you more in the long run to piecemeal things together than to get a fishing crew and do it right and do it the 1 time instead of 10 times. So I do look forward to seeing this wonderful tree and Christmas in the park. Also, I think it's worth asking or bringing to your attention, as we expand as a town and our parks expand, thinking of acquisition of more property. That Heartland area there's that property that's just to the south of it. I think has become a little more advantageous for us recently, and probably will become so. So just to put that into your mind to consider. So just to make things better here in St. John, it's a great area, be a great place to expand and make that better.
I think our biggest challenge moving forward, as we seem to want to annex property to the south and east, is to at least dedicate what I would consider to be sizable acreage.
Right, because
for
once
some
that
sort of
property is
expansion.
gone,
It's gone.
it's gone.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Parks and Recreation Board members. Anybody got a question, comment, or concern that they would like to bring up now?
I'd like to bring up something unrelated to the park.
That's fine.
Good. Now?
Sure.
Now can I do that?
Now is the time.
Okay. Hang on 1 second and let me bring this up. The Lake Central High School every year has a Veterans Day, and that it will be this year, November 8th. There is, once I make this bigger, breakfast in the morning from 7:45 to 8:45. The ceremony is from 9 o'clock to 10:30. And the person who is going to be the featured speaker this year is a gentleman called Jim Furlong. Jim happens to be the second vice district governor in the Lions a regional program. He's a man who had his platoon, or anyway, a group of men there, where a grenade was thrown and he jumped on top of it. He since has lost his leg, but he is an extremely motivating speaker. So if anybody can, there's a little, this stuff is online. Please call him if you're going to attend, so they have enough food for breakfast. But he is very worthwhile to go and listen to the Jim Furlong speak.
And is this sponsored by the Lions Club?
No, this is not. This is sponsored by Lake Central High School. I don't know who actually does that.
I just know it's Mr. Stanish, maybe.
You know, yeah.
Mike will have a better answer than I will, so.
The school puts on, so.
That's good, yeah, that's,
Okay.
that,
The high
yeah,
school.
it's just,
Okay.
you know.
Because I'll be honest, it's the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, you know, only because we have the Veterans Museum at the
Correct.
Safety Village.
Correct.
And so Tom brought it, and I again sent it out to the whole Lions
It's a great,
district and
it's a
stuff.
great
and
opportunity.
Yeah. he's,
I hope people that, can,
Yeah,
will attend.
thank you for that opportunity.
No problem. Any other, Cindy, you got anything?
No, I just heard positive things for Boo Bash, so great job on your maize and everything else that happened. And Rebecca, I know that your farmer's market's coming to an end, so great job on
Yeah,
that.
thank you for all your work there.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I know you guys work hard, so.
And I was at the maze today and I did get lost, so I just want you to. My grandson figured out how to get through it all, but I was lost in the shuffle.
Maybe I'll get a map for you next year.
Thank you, I appreciate that. All right, we're ready for Mr. O'Shea now on item 8, any and all.
Okay, yeah, thanks. And this was emailed out today to you guys, and I just have it, I basically copied what I emailed and just put it into his memo, but I had went back and forth with Nicole on this, but, so we're closing out here in the 2023 for landscaping for the grass cutting, and, obviously we use Great Lakes Landscaping. We went out to bid with it, last year. I went to the town council last November, then we okayed everything, I believe it was in February 6th. This year for 2023. In your packet shows the current agreement that we have. Number 15 in that line item, or within the agreements, shows that we have the ability to renew the contract for up to 2 years. So I talked to Great Lakes; they're okay with keeping the prices the same from 2023 to 2024. So what I was looking to do was to have a motion to approve Great Lakes Landscaping to continue the grass cutting work for the year 2024 at the same price of 2023, which is $2,670 per cut, per weekly cut, and it's $23.27 per acre. And for 31 cuts, basically that would be from April 8th of 2024 going through the week of November 6th.
Okay. But this is nothing more than a recommendation, because doesn't the town council have to approve it?
No, because no,
Okay.
because the park board approved the agreement.
Okay. This
The
past
council
February-
opened it in November because it was advisory board.
Correct.
You guys okayed it back in February.
Right.
So it's paid out of the 2204 park funds.
Gotcha.
And stuff. So as long as they're I said Great Lakes was okay with it, we're continuing on for.
And Nicole, you're okay that we don't open this up for bid?
The council had originally accepted the proposals on this last year, obviously, and then the contract that was signed in February. In that contract, and part of that proposal was an option for the parties to extend the contract for 2 one-year extensions
Okay.
at all the same prices.
Okay.
So it is in the original, what was originally proposed and what was originally in that approved contract. So yes, I am completely in that regard. If for whatever reason this board and/or the contractor did not want to proceed for any reason, quite frankly, but more specifically for the costs at those prices, then either party does not have to, agree to the extension.
Right.
But it's completely there and legal for your, option for 2024, and then this time next year, you can do the same thing for 2025. It would have to be bid again for calendar year 2026, regardless.
Okay, then I will entertain, excuse me, I will entertain a motion to keep Great Lakes Landscaping for the 2024 calendar year at the current agreement at the current price that was signed for 2023, beginning in April and ending in November of 2024 at the current cost of $2,670 per cut, which is $23.27 per acre.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Barb. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Thank you, Cindy. So I have a motion, I have a second. All in favor of continuing this contract with Great Lakes Landscaping signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we're good to go. Anything else, Mike?
No, nothing,
Okay.
nothing else.
You got anything you want to add, Pat?
Sure, yes. I do. One, I would like to thank, obviously, the board for one, every support that you guys have been showing us and continue to show us. I think it helps when we are all on the same page, and I think the public has been on board with us as well, and I can't thank, again, this board and the community enough. That being said, I think we are, like, as we were just discussing, we're gearing up for Christmas in the park, and any and all help, volunteers, sponsors is very much welcome and wanted. Yes, even though we are revamping a little bit of the light show, we're definitely going to be giving a big nod to the teams that have done this in the past and the people who have made this what it is. So we definitely plan on doing the tree sponsors like we always have, and pictures with Santa for each of the events like we've always have. So I just want to continue the momentum that we, as the department, continue to build here, and I can't thank both of these guys enough.
I do hope you can maybe incorporate some of the symbols of other religions that celebrate this season also in there, so all of our community, regardless of what your beliefs are, would be represented in for the park.
Great point. Absolutely.
Okay. Public comment. Anybody here that would like to comment? Line up, please.
Hello, Gabe Hernandez, 10538 Bridlewood Street. Been a member of this town for quite a bit now. I'm very familiar with Christmas in the Park. This will be the 19th year of Christmas in the Park. It's been a very successful event. The event has always lived within its means of the appropriated funds by our town council, which is $10,000, by also raising money and donations. This has always made it special. Throughout the years, the people who ran the event would always request more funds, but the town council would say no. And this was their response, which is okay. That's their job, to be stewards of our money. By asking for such an over amount of money is astronomical to me. Over the years, with that $10,000, we've upkept, we've made fixes. Because the stuff is old, doesn't mean it's trash. So we fixed that, we made it better. It's my belief that the parks don't have any kind of money coming in. There's no income. All we have is our impact fees. And we're spending that like there's no tomorrow. This was a want, not a need. Our parks, our actual parks that are forever, those are needs. When you put lights and trees, that tree can die. Or it's got to be cut back. Accidents can happen, vandalism can happen to it. That's a great want. It's a great want, but it's not a necessity. Like, thank you, Mr. Moffett, for speaking about our taxpayers. it's a big deal going into this. I'm at a loss. I'm sorry, I'm at a loss for words. The Parks Department has known about this probably since January, and we wait to bring it to the board until last month. This is a huge amount of money to ask on the last 11th hour, as was stated earlier. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. There's so many good people in this town who do come to this event, and I wish the best for it. But there's so many things that need to be done for this event besides the lights, like the electricity. No one probably knows that the electricity probably needs to be revamped. It's falling apart. The infrastructure is falling apart. That's going to be another couple $100,000 probably down the line. But no one asks those questions. We just want to do the outsourcing. Sometimes if you're going to do the event, you got to roll the sleeves up and you got to get dirty. It's not fun doing it, but you get such a good payout of the feeling when it's done. We can't just keep outsourcing everything because it's easier. Sometimes the easiest route is not the correct route. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Yep, come on up.
Kathy Balicki. I reside at 10064 Alcott Avenue, and I'm also the accounts payable clerk for the clerk treasurer, and I've been there since 2016. I have to second everything that Gabe said, and as well thank Mike. We've all been I have been since 2016 involved in Christmas in the Park. It has been successful year after year. We've added stuff. If you have gone to the Christmas in the Park, then you know that it's been a success. We also work with the police department, the public works, the fire department, Lake County. We have made it a success by working hard and putting our hearts in it. Now you're going to turn around and use fees. I've listened to one of your council. Now remind you board are the stewards of our park board money. Yet you are spending money. You want to charge Boo Bash residents to come to Boo Bash. But yet, one of the things, and I've talked to Mike about this, is where I reside, I live by Homestead Park. I drive by it every day. I walk that park path 4 to 5 times a week. I look at the park enclosure or the fence enclosure around the porta potty. At first, when I saw it going up, I was like, oh, is this going to work? Because many times in the years since I've been there, since 1993, I have seen that porta potty down. I've called the police, I've called the park and say, hey, porta potty's down, can you guys get it up? They have always done that. So now I see a fence go around it. I actually like the fence. I think it looks very nice. But now you're putting, and the fence, and you can correct me, Mike, if I'm wrong, they cost over $2,600 to install. About there?
It was 24, I think it was, yeah.
Okay, 24, 2,600 to install.
Yeah, right around there, yeah.
Okay.
Right around there.
Now, they've been damaged. We've had to have repairs on those. It's not something that's covered. We've got to pay now park board money. We've had to appropriate money now to go to those fences to be repaired. Now you're putting these murals up. And I don't, no offense against it, but when I see the one that's at the gates, I see that it looks more like it should be in an urban area. I've talked to many residents already that have come in. I've seen them. I'm also the precinct committee person in my area. I've talked to my residents. They've gone around. They've seen some of them. And I'm not saying anything bad about them, but they don't belong at our park. We are a bedroom community. We are not an urban area. So now when you have one of those murals damaged, who's going to pay it? Let me ask you, who's going to pay it? We do. Our money, our residents are paying that. Our park impact fees, our appropriations, we're budgeted, and you guys know that. And I just feel, I thank Mike again, and I thank Gabe, because he has spoke exactly how I feel as a resident over 30 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody else? That being said,
We need to get this signed.
yeah, we have to get that done. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Barb Tusley, so made.
Thank you. Do I have a second?